Afternoon, everyone. I'm Mary Beth Jarvis, and I'll introduce myself more formally in a little bit. But since we've got dozens of folks online, we want to use your time wisely and get started on today's webinar. I've got a couple of notes on flow and some housekeeping, and then we'll sort of kick in to our presentation and get moving. So overall, this webinar will include about the first 45, maybe 50 minutes with first kind of setup conversations and then the pitch showcase of the 9 great fintech financial technology pilot competition finalists for this year. So that's just sort of the flow. After that, we will have breakout rooms that will give you the opportunity to go one-on-one with the finalist companies. So as you're listening to their 3-minute pitches, make a note of who you've got a question for, who you might want to engage with, and you can stick around. We will keep those breakout rooms open until 1:30 US Central Time. So pick your own, so basically the bottom of the next hour. And you can spend time in one breakout room or circulate between them. And we'll talk about the mechanics of that later. Couple of housekeeping notes. One, if you joined this webinar from the desktop Zoom version, you will not have the privilege of going into the breakout rooms. So I'd like to coach you to enter this webinar, go back out if you have to and come back in either the desktop or mobile app rather than your browser. So probably the way you do most Zoom meetings, just make sure you're not doing via browser, come in through the app. Via browser, you can still listen to the pitches. You just won't be able to interact in the breakout rooms that'll take place here in about 45 minutes. Second housekeeping note is if you look down at the bottom, there's a Q&A function. That Q&A for the purpose of today's event is really more about sort of operational or technical issues for the webinar. The person monitoring that Q&A is not a fintech expert. It's not one of the startups. It's the person who is moderating the dialogue and movement of this webinar. So that's like, I can't get into a breakout room, help me with this. Where you can interact with the startups themselves and your fellow attendees is via the chat. So we're going to have a live chat throughout and get you able to engage with the startups as they're pitching, but then more fully with all the participants as we go. So focus in on that Q&A button. Secondly, I'd like you to take a look at the resources tab. Pre-populated in the resources tab is an overview of these finalists. If you want to open that now, click on it. You'll have about a half page each on these 9 companies, who they are, where they are, what their traction is, what their activity's been, even in terms of getting funding. This is not investor pitches today. These are customer pitches for you, but you'll get a rounded version of the startups, and that can be a little bit of your sort of cheat sheet as you go through. I think that was Q&A, chat, resources, and then the breakout rooms that you've got to do via the app, not your browser. The only other note that I will make is that some of our NXTSTAGE staff will be in the chat. You will see a user by the name of Ellie Peters, who's echoing some of these messages and providing kind of information as the webinar goes on. So you can look for her as an information provider, and we'll go from there. So why don't we go ahead and kick start. I can drive the slides now. It's super exciting. Into the beginning of our webinar.
We help entrepreneurs, investors, communities grow companies of significance. We get behind entrepreneurs, builders, innovators, and we connect a community of mentors and resources, capital for startups, customers to support growth, to those with the courage to grow the next great business in Kansas and beyond. Ready to support, invest, and grow? Be a part of the next us.
So I am Mary Beth Jarvis, President and CEO of NXTSTAGE. I've been with the organization since 2019, and it is our role, headquartered in Wichita, Kansas, but serving entrepreneurs throughout not just the heartland of the country, but around the world, helping founders grow companies of significance. We have the entrepreneur at the core of all that we do, and we really have aligned around the fact that founders and entrepreneurs, business builders, need 3 things. The first is a connection to community, mentors, resources, programming that fits them, their growth journey, and allows the business of founding and growing a scalable and ambitious company. It's never not going to be hard. It's never not going to be lonely sometimes. But how we connect that tissue that links entrepreneurs together here, particularly in the heartland of the US, but throughout, is really important. So beyond building community for entrepreneurs, we also connect them to customers. This program, along with others under our NXTSTAGE programming umbrella, is for folks that are moving and they've gotten the hard work to get themselves off the ground. They've got product or services in market, but they need a rocket boost of next stage energy to get them growing. And that tends to be achieved via growth in revenue, connections with customers, market feedback, go-to-market strategy help. And so we have an entire array of programs around connecting entrepreneurs to customers. And then we also work to connect entrepreneurs to capital. We have capital education, angel recruitment and education, and we run an angel syndicate called Accelerate Venture Partners. Again, headquartered in Wichita, but involving startups and investors from all around both the heartland of America and beyond. For this program in particular, we have begun we began the impact for this back in 2020. So even with the pandemic in full swing, we managed to kickstart this unique program that is a light lift for the startups and a curated exposure to prospective fintech partners for banks, credit unions, financial services companies around the country. In the first 5 years, we had almost 500 competitors, startups from around the country and the world, who decided what they wanted to do was get their products, services, deployable, pilotable tools in front of community banks. They had built for them and wanted warm introductions and the opportunity to get market feedback and the chance to collaborate, do business, and run pilot programs. 47 finalists have completed the program over those first 5 years, with 17 pilot projects and winners announced at the conclusion of each of those. We've done virtual innovation showcases like this one in 2020, and then we did hybrid in 21 through 24. And then this program today is the conclusion of a program that started in 2025. It welcomed 210 competitors from all over the world. And from that giant pool, the team of sponsors and contributors that Colette will introduce later helped narrow it down to the 9 finalists with the most relevant, the most promising technology tools that answered the innovation needs that we heard from community banks, not in just Kansas, not in just the heartland of America, but around the US. And so these finalists come at you today with a 3-minute pitch that really showcases how they are ready to create value for you and your financial institutions. So we'll hear some of the winners announced today. But frankly, the winners from these competitions emerge over time. So you could, in fact, be the source of a winning designation for one of our finalists today. Because if you hear something you like, if you hear something highly relevant to your institution, your innovation journey, and your technology needs, you'll have the opportunity to engage in the breakout sessions, follow up with these contacts, and find your next great fintech collaboration. Big picture, you guys know this better than I. The world of serving commercial and consumer clients with banking services and financial services is changing incredibly fast. And fintechs, and banks have sort of become frenemies. On one hand, there's a wallet share sort of conflict. On the other hand, there's a collaboration must. And this competition, this program attempts to make the best of that collaboration need and turn this curated contact into productive and promising relationships for both the financial institutions and the startups. So we're super excited that we brought everyone here today. I want to introduce the program manager for the NXTSTAGE Financial Technology Pilot Competition, Colette Atkinson. She's really been the key linchpin in making this program this year and bringing to you these 9 great finalists today. So I'll turn it over to her. You'll see me a little bit at the very end to sort of mop up and get you into breakout rooms. But for now, Colette's got the floor. Welcome, Colette, and thanks everybody. We're excited to get started.
Thank you, Mary Beth. Welcome everyone to today's call. Thank you for joining this afternoon, like on your lunch break. We're so happy to have you. I get the pleasure of introducing not only our sponsors, but also our finalists for this year's program. So we'll start off first by introducing our sponsors. We want to say a huge, huge thank you to the Kansas Bankers Association. Bobby and Brenda and the task force have been along with us along the way during this process, and we thank you guys so much for your third year of supporting this program. Then next up, we have DCI in their second year. They have assisted us. They're a core provider actually here in Kansas, so in Hutchinson. So Jason and Tana have been along the way, and we appreciate you guys. And then our final, well, next. Kent AV, thank you guys. You guys have been along with us from the very, very start. Went a little quick, very start. Since 2020, Kent AV has been served as our audio and visual, sorry. And you guys have done such a great job. Danny, you have rocked it out with us today, so we appreciate all of your help. And last but not least, we have ABA, the American Bankers Association. Today, you guys, I'm going to introduce you to Ryan. Ryan Jackson is with the Office of Innovation with the American Bankers Association, and they're with us for their first year of sponsoring. Ryan, can you hear me okay?
I can. No, appreciate that. I will set the tone here for the pitches and keep my remarks here to definitely under 3 minutes for sure. Let me start off. I do want to thank Mary Beth, Colette, and the broader Nexus team for hosting this showcase. Additionally, want to thank Bobby Young and Doug and the Kansas Bankers, who I believe introduced us to Nexus. If not, I know we've had discussions about them. And then obviously great to see so many familiar faces, companies, and then excited to see a lot of new people as well. You know, we get the questions like, why are we here? For us and a lot of the banks that we work with and, you know, that are meeting with fintechs, you know, they know it's really not the technology. A lot of times the technology is the easy piece. It's really the partnership. So understanding and kind of laying out what the fintech kind of brings to the table and then what the bank's also bringing to the fintech is really, really key. That's why models like Nexus and other ones we think are really good because you get to hear these quick 3-minute pitches and then get to meet one-on-one with the companies afterwards. You know, as I would say, as you're thinking about this or kind of listening to these pitches, think through a few questions that we always kind of get or have for a lot of these is number one, you know, just broadly, how are these solutions going to improve the experience for your banks, your employees, and then potentially your customers? What steps have they taken? Obviously, compliance and security are a big piece, and I know a number of them are going to hit on that. Additionally, core integrations, other technology integrations are going to be really, really important. So as you're thinking through and listening to these pitches, kind of get that. And then finally, returning to my kind of original points is think through and prod them and poke them on like, what are the partnership opportunities that you're going to have with them? You know, whether that's pilots, co-development, but a number of them also have other kind of models to think through. So these are all kind of just obviously great topics to think through. Again, I'll kind of stop mine there, but really excited to support this initiative like this, connecting these banks to these different kind of emerging technologies. So thanks again for including us, Colette, and I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you so much, Ryan. So another huge thank you to our sponsors, ABA, KBA, DCI, as well as Kent AV. Okay, I hope you guys are ready for the next portion of our program. I get the pleasure of introducing you to our 9 finalists for this year's program. With our first group, I will break them out into 3. So the first group, you'll hear from, they all share a focus of transforming the customer journey, from streamlining onboarding to delivering insights to improving workflows and unlocking the power of customer data. I introduce you to Monet, Multimodal, and Spiros.
All right. Hey everyone, my name is Steve Dow. I'm the founder and CEO of Monet. Thanks to Nexus and all the sponsors for putting this together, everyone for participating. Appreciate the time. We are a software company built by bankers for bankers, and we're totally focused on helping you win in the small business segment. We've been around for over 6 years. We work with about 40 banks and credit unions in the US, and we only work with banks and credit unions. You can see some of the names here. We're also backed by folks who are totally focused on the fintech and bank tech industry, and the American Bankers Association is also an investor, and we have relationships with many of the core and digital banking providers. Just to sort of level set, I mentioned we're totally focused on the business banking segment. We see the business banking world in a few different ways. First of all, businesses are passionate about running their business. They're not passionate about their financials. They need help with their financials. They want to be protected from check fraud. They're looking for their bank for that advice. And in many cases, they're not getting it. But the small business segment is very critical. So it's no wonder that banks, when surveyed, say they're constantly looking for new ways to provide products and services to really tap into that potential that exists in the small business segment. So it's no wonder that the big banks are investing their formidable budgets to attract small business clients. You can see some of the examples here, but banks are really leaning into financial tools for business owners. And a lot of the tools that they have developed on a proprietary sense, we offer to regional and community banks across the US. So I don't have time to go through all of our products. We have 3 products. I'll give you a quick overview. The first product we have is called CheckSync. This is a positive pay automation tool. So this works with your existing positive pay system. It automates the daily check issuance transfer process between the business owner and the bank's positive pay system. Really takes out a ton of friction for the business owner and for the treasury team. Our second product is called Monocore, where we bring in all the transaction data from the bank for lending and deposits across the business portfolio, mine that data for cross-sell opportunities, relationship coaching, financial wellness, et cetera. Really helps the bank see their business portfolio in new and unique ways and enable to sort of really advance the relationships that you have with business clients. Finally, our original product, or sort of a flagship product, Monet, a bit more of a complex product in that there's tools for the business owner, cash flow forecasting, benchmarking, et cetera. We connect to the business owner's accounting system, like QuickBooks, so we can see a lot more of what's going on at the business and use all that data to provide advanced analytics and insights to bankers and marketing teams to really deepen those relationships. We recommend that banks start with either CheckSync or Monocore to get sort of value day one, really easy to sort of turn these things on, and then over time, graduate into Monet to go sort of a lot deeper into the portfolio. Really quickly, CheckSync, I mentioned this is an automated positive pay tool. So again, works with your existing positive pay system. We bring in the check data directly from the business owner's source of truth, transfer all that check data into your positive pay system, removes the friction for the business owner, removes the friction for the treasury teams, and allows you to sell more positive pay and protect your customers in sort of a new way. For both Monet and Monocore, here's sort of a taste of some of the advanced analytics and insights that you'll get. So we, at the business level, you'll see all the tools that they're using, all the products that they're using, tailored insights, think about next best actions, next best products for those businesses, as well as an account overview, seeing all of their accounts, trending, et cetera. It's a really great place for bankers to go before they go talk to a business client to understand what's going on and really help them sort of advance the business. With respect to results, again, we've been around for a while. We've seen some really great results with our clients. On the left here, this is full year data for 2025 from one of our clients. We've scaled it down to 100, but for every 100 insights that we surfaced, 15 of those turned into a real opportunity, which was way above anything that the bank had seen. And then they had about a 30% conversion rate on top of that. Again, much higher than anything else the bank is doing. And some testimonials from business owners as well. And so in some, as I mentioned, built by bankers for bankers, proven ROI to help your bankers be trusted advisors, better customer relationships, compete against the big banks, and help you win in the small business segment. So I'll leave you with one sort of parting thought, which is, what are you doing to realize the potential in the small business segment? How can we help? Look forward to talking to everyone later. Thanks so much.
Hey everyone, I'm Ishita. I am the head of growth here for Multimodal. We build agentic AI for banking. So we focus on building secure, auditable, compliant AI agents. The reason we do this is because we understand for most banks, whether small or large, institutional knowledge is a big problem. It's trapped in the head of experts, and that ends up slowing decisions. It increases your risk, and then it doesn't allow you to scale effectively. What we've built to solve for that is AI agents that can drive better customer experiences, that capture that institutional knowledge, and then help you retain your competitive advantage. So all of this becomes very, very important. But the thing that differentiates us from all other vendors that you'll see in the market today is number one, we're purpose-built for banking. So we only work with banks and credit unions primarily, and other financial services sometimes. We have feedback loops that drive a lot of accuracy. What that means is your bankers are in the driver's seat. They're the ones that are coaching these AI agents, which means all of your data, all of your competitive advantage lives with you. And we'll do all of this through a full service partnership model, which means we'll collaborate effectively with your operations teams, with your bankers, to make sure that all of your real workflows as they live today are reflected well into the AI agents that you're working with. Now, the way we do this, the way we break down these very complex workflows is by dividing them into these 5 steps. So number one is taking in data, so structured or unstructured from multiple sources, then performing triage on them, then helping with any diligence that loan officers today or customer service representatives today would be doing, using a very customer friendly and also employee friendly conversational interface, then helping with the key decision making that will be driven by collecting all of that data as well as applying your existing rules and policies. And then finally, papering all of that in a compliant, secure, auditable report, as well as preparing any letters or documentations that have to come out of these processes. So some workflows that we serve here are like lending, customer service, etc. Now, because the bankers are the ones that are coaching AI, your data never leaves your walls. All of your data stays within your walls. We have security procedures in place to do that. Because of the feedback loops that we have inbuilt, while you start with a low accuracy of 80%, that would happen in a manual process. With our agents, you're quickly able to get up to a 98%. We're also able to reduce average handling times, and we're able to help you retain expertise that would have otherwise left with your staff, which now persists in our agents. Sorry about this. Now, we've done this a couple of times with multiple customers, have several customers across the banking and credit union ecosystem. One of our biggest customers is Foreign Credit Union, for whom we've reduced lending turnaround time by around 60%. Here are some stats about that, and I'll be happy to talk more on this. In fact, the way we work with banks is to make sure that we're able to prove very quick value in less than 6 weeks. We also make sure that there is a feedback capture loop that helps improve AI agent performance over time. And all of this happens through a tight partnership because we understand that change management is one of the biggest blockers when it comes to bringing in a new technology like AI. For most people here, if this is the first time that you're thinking about AI, you haven't experimented with it at all, we are the partner that you want to talk to. So come see us in breakout room 2. We're also hosting a webinar specifically around using agentic AI on lending on February 8th. So if you just want to learn more, you're going to have some industry colleagues and peers there as well. So come chat with us and see us there.
Hi, good morning. My name is Derek Walton. I am a co-founder and CEO of Spiros, and I have been exactly where you guys are. I've worked at money service businesses, fintechs, corporates, and I last worked at a tier 1 institution running innovation globally. But every place I've worked with, I dealt with the frustration and the insanity of business client onboarding. Now, regional and community banks run into a few issues about potentially losing clients. Move to the next slide, please. Now, the first issue is you have the same regulations and requirements as the tier 1, tier 2 banks, with a fraction of the resources. Next, client onboarding is slow. Sometimes it takes more than 6.5 weeks, and that is me being very generous about it. And clients can get very frustrated as they go through onboarding. They go back and forth with emails and phone calls, and even if they finish, if they ever want another product or service, they have to go through the same process again, sometimes providing the same documentation. And security is paramount. Clients are always looking for better ways and more secure ways to share sensitive information. Next slide. So let me tell you a little bit more about how this works. Imagine one of your salespeople has just closed a deal with a big business client prospect. Through our platform, your bank would send an invitation to that prospect. That prospect would go in and open up their own data wallet. In it, they put their sensitive information and documents. And with a click of a button, they would create a secure real-time connection with the bank, meaning that anytime they update their wallet, their bank records get updated as well, sort of reducing that age-old data problem that banks tend to have. But further, you're giving that business a tool that allows them to use that same wallet to update their other partners, such as their legal partners, tax accountants, or local regulators. Next slide. The Spheros platform will help you get revenue in the door faster, and as you make KYC and risk decisions, you'll have real-time data to back it up. We also make it easier to redeploy staff to much more strategic and exception-based work other than just manual data collection. And we give not just your clients, but your staff a very modern user experience, sort of graduating you from that 90s era UI that some of us have become very accustomed to. Next slide. Besides just being a perfect eye candy, we get this idea called workspaces, which is a great collaboration space. It allows for multiple internal partners and stakeholders with the client to see the progress of their onboarding. That includes tasks, SLAs, and easy drag and drop exchange of documentation. Next slide. We will help you get revenue in the door faster and increase your onboarding. We will also eliminate 70% of manual work as we look to streamline your operations and build a lot of that client loyalty by making sure you have a very slick and fun user interface. We believe very strongly in bank-grade security, therefore we are SOC 2 certified, believe in end-to-end encryption, and more importantly, we allow clients to see where their data is going and have control over it. Next slide, please. We are a women-owned business and a veteran-owned business, and we are eager to talk with you about what we can do and answer your questions. Thank you.
Great job to our last three. We had Monit again, Multimodal, and Spiros. You guys did a wonderful job presenting. Okay, so what are you guys thinking as the crowd is so far? I think they have totally showed that their solutions are very innovative and things that can help Kansas. So I'm excited to introduce our next group of people. This next group represents innovators who are strengthening security measures, stopping fraud before it starts, and improving customer interactions by turning data into financial intelligence. With this group, I introduce you to ASA, Posh, and Aluma. Landon, I'll let you take it away.
Thanks so much. Landon Glenn, CEO of ASA. ASA Vault is an embedded super app giving your customers everything they need in your digital banking. And ASA solves the compliance risk of partnering with fintechs with a vetted fintech marketplace. Vendor consolidation will lighten compliance load. We combine credit data, core data, and off-bank data in one unified data insights platform called ASA Compass. Next slide, please. Now, how many finance apps do you have on your phone? I have 13. And if you're like me, you have no idea what happened last week because there's too many fragmented apps. From functionality to security, connections breaking, data exposure, even fraud. Why isn't it easier to connect finance and technology? Next slide, please. Thank you. ASA Vault is your financial operating system. Instead of your customers leaving to get fintech apps and accounts, their entire financial world is housed inside your banking app. One secure place, allowing your customers to get all of their financial needs met inside of your banking app, eliminating the need for them to go to other competing banking apps. ACE's patented architecture wraps the banking core, providing a two-way data flow. We read and write. We have open APIs allowing your customers to privately and securely connect to any integrated partner. Now, this is our 300 credit union enterprise partner, and ASA Vault is embedded as a button at the bottom of the banking app, opening an app inside of your app. We match your colors, language translation, light and dark mode. So it looks and feels like your app. We bring together core data, credit data, and all other bank accounts a customer has with other banks. We provide a suite of AI solutions that your customers will use every single day. We can see if a user has paid rent on time for the last 2 years and give them an alert letting them know that they can report their on-time rent to boost their credit score. We can file state and federal taxes, replacing TurboTax, all without leaving your digital banking, and much, much more. Now, if a customer connects to 10 different financial institutions, they can seamlessly move money from any bank to any other bank using ASA Transfer. ASA OneView is an AI agent that displays every transaction across all cards and accounts day by day. It cleanses, categorizes, and creates automated 360-degree budgets. ASA Forecast is an AI agent displaying every transaction that will hit across all accounts the next 60 days. No more tedious spreadsheets for cash flow management, forecasting, and your customers never have to leave your app to manage their other financial accounts with other banks and credit unions, resulting in primary financial institution status. Now, ASA Compass provides you data insights on everything from customers' credit data, as you see here, to life events, demographics, and more. And here you see all the outflow of wallet share that is leaving your bank to other competitors, whether it be interchange, investment platforms, loans, etc. Please join us in Breakout Room 4 for a live demo and find out how you can securely connect your customers' financial world all inside of your digital banking app. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Karan Kashyap, and I'm the co-founder and CEO at Posh AI. Posh is a conversational AI platform that's purpose-built for banking, and we build solutions for both improving the customer experience, but also making your employees superpowered and as productive as possible. So the problem that we're tackling at Posh is really focused on removing bottlenecks as banks scale. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yep. So as we talked to a lot of community banks, we noticed that there's common problems that really things that could be solved using AI agents. Key person risk is a big one. A lot of banks have this idea of a guru employee, someone who's been at the bank for a long time, has all the information in their heads, but if they leave, they take that information with them. And a lot of your other employees depend on these guru employees. They can become bottlenecks to growing. And it also is hindered by the lack of instant service that AI agents can now provide. So let's take a look at a better alternative. Today, you might have legacy keyword search where there's a lot of different data sources and you don't really get an answer at the top. Today, if you use Google search, you get a nice summarized AI answer right at the top of the screen, but traditional keyword search doesn't quite work that way. And it creates a frustrating experience for the employee and ultimately for the customer downstream as well, if it takes a long time to find the information and deliver the answer back. So at Posh, we're focused on how do we use AI agents to solve this problem? What if every employee, whether they're a new hire or a tenured employee or anyone in between, had an AI agent at their disposal trained on your bank's information that acts as a guru right alongside them? So let's take a look at what a solution like that might look like. And this is introducing Posh's Knowledge Assistant. So Posh's Knowledge Assistant is an AI agent that's trained on your bank's policies and procedures. It's kind of like a ChatGPT within your own secure environment. And in this case here, I'm asking a question. I said, what are the steps to complete a domestic wire transfer over the phone? And in just a few seconds, the AI was able to mine through all your policy and procedure documents. There could be thousands of documents behind the scenes, and it provides a summarized answer right within a few seconds, including the source cited and feedback opportunities to create that feedback loop. And just like a conversational AI agent, you can ask follow-up questions. So it's not just a single question with a single dead-end answer. If I don't exactly get what I want, I can clarify what I mean and ask a follow-up. And we also introduced workshop mode, the ability to actually have the AI agent do more than just knowledge retrieval. What if you could ask it to draft emails for you or identify contradictions or conflicts between two different policies, or see if any new regulation is now requiring you to update your documents within your knowledge base. So all this and more powered by Posh Knowledge Assistant. So hopefully you get an example from that demo of the future of where customer and employee interactions can be made more efficient and made more delightful through the power of AI. AI-powered search ultimately helps us achieve better results downstream. So this is just one of our products at Posh Knowledge Assistant. We have a suite of different AI agents that are both employee-facing as well, but also customer-facing. So definitely join us in our breakout room to learn more about Posh, and thank you for your time.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Amy Travers. I'm the VP of Sales at Illuma. We are a fintech out of Dallas, Texas, focused on voice security, delivering on shorter calls, better security, and an overall better banking experience. Next slide, please. We are proud to work with around 50 financial institutions, ranging in size, covering them for member customer authentication or even employee authentication. Next slide, please. We deliver on fast value. Think today of those fun knowledge-based questions, those pins and passwords that you're asking your customers to authenticate them, to establish trust. This process can take a minute or longer. We, on average, save our customers 87% of that valuable time, authenticating customers in about 3 to 5 seconds. And when asked if a customer would like to participate, we see on average 95% or higher customers are saying yes when invited to use their voice instead of traditional authentication methods. And what about fraud? Everyone today is trying to ensure trust, protect your brand, but fraudsters are busy and the attacks are getting ever more sophisticated. Friends and family fraud, data breaches, and more sophisticated attacks like deepfake or synthetic attacks. We proudly reject 99% of any of the most sophisticated type of deepfake attacks. And the best news, in production, we have never had a fraudster bypass our system, whether that's a human fraudster or those deepfakes. We continue to innovate and we're proud to have won many awards. But next slide, please, and I'll show you the demo in action. What I'm going to show you in this demonstration is the ease of using voice to authenticate. You're going to hear a customer calling using their voice, and you're going to see it from the perspective of an agent in the contact center. We work with many of the common contact center platforms. If you could advance the slide, please.
Thank you for calling Illuma Financial. How may I assist you today?
Hi, this is John Smith. I'd like to set up a recurring transfer of $250 from my checking to my savings account on the 5th of every month. Can you help me with that?
Absolutely. And you've been verified by Voice ID, so there's no need for additional security questions. I'll take care of that transfer for you right now.
Wow, that was fast. Thank you so much.
And it was fast by design. I'll call attention to a few subtle but important details. You'll notice for the customer, it was easy. No need to repeat a phrase or use specific words. 3 to 5 seconds of them speaking, we were able to return and verify, letting your agent know they're speaking to the correct person. Should this have been a fraudster, human or otherwise, we would have alerted in real time. Next slide, please. And the best part, we pride ourselves as a differentiator in being a good partner, and that starts with deployment. Our average deployment takes as little as 3 weeks, and we help you every step of the way. And we understand the importance of it being financially favorable. All of our customers can expect to see a fast ROI within the first year. Next slide, please. Please join us in the breakout room to learn more about how Illuma can deliver on shorter calls, better security, and an overall better banking experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy. Okay, by now you guys can see why these 9 finalists made it past like a group of 210 that applied this year. So I want to say again, thank you to Asa, Posh, and Aluma. All right, our last and final group shares the commitment to protecting customers, reducing fraud, and ensuring them that the knowledge that they'll be able to make confident financial decisions. This last and final group, I present to you V2 Verify, 6Map, and eFrontiers.
Hi, my name is Damian Di Rosario. I'm founder and CEO of V2 Verify. At V2, next slide, please. At V2 Verify, we've designed a authentication system that is a 5-factor authentication system. So we use voice, behavioral biometrics, a deepfake detection system, the device verification, and what you know, combining 5 different factors as a multi-factor authentication system. In our world, we call that a multi-factor authentication in a single pass. What that means is if you assume a normal authentication model, where you use your user ID and a password and you get a text message or some sort of a number that's texted to you or presented to you, you would have to type that back in to get multi-factor authentication. What we've done is we've simplified this process by saying, we will show you some numbers, you read those numbers back into the system, and during that process, we will use our 5-factor authentication to authenticate you. Next slide, please. The system we're going to show you today was built for the DoD for authenticating and verifying certain high-level decision-making processes. Once we built the system, we realized that this system can be used in the banking world to secure treasury payments. So if you look at today's treasury, next slide, please. If you look at the treasury payments process today, it's highly impacted by fraud. Because there's a large value transactions going out of your associations, and there is a lot of lawsuits at the moment where officers of banks are being sued because of loss of money by their corporate customers. Next slide, please. The process today is pretty archaic. The bank gets a treasury payment or a large value payment coming in. The bank will actually make a call to actually try to verify that with the customer. This process can be cumbersome because if the call goes through and the person that has to approve it is in a meeting or something like that, there's a phone tag being played. It's a manual verification process, so this takes high friction and takes quite a long time to actually get done. Next slide, please. What we've done is we've simplified this process by making it digital. Your customer will have an app on their phone. When a treasury payment comes in, the app will get a notification saying, hey, you need to authorize these payments. The customer can authorize that payment using their 5-factor authentication using voice as well, and at their own leisure. And once the authorization is done, the payment can go through. The authorization can be a single person authorization, multiple person authorization. It really depends on how the corporate client wants to set up their account system. Next slide, please. Our system it increases speed, increases security by a large amount, and there's an auditability because once you authenticate to approve a payment, everything about you, everything on the metadata from your device, where you're at, who you are, all that is logged so that there is an accountability and there's a trackability for any of those authorizations. Next slide, please. The implementation is simple. You can use our branded app, you can use a white labeled app, or we can integrate using an SDK into your existing banking. This integration can be deployed within a couple of weeks. Next slide, please. So I invite you to join us in breakout room 7, and imagine what your banking and your corporate clients can achieve and how simple the process of doing corporate payments could be with our technology. Next slide, please. Again, like I said, meet us in break room 7. We'd love to be able to show you a live demo as well as set up some future conversations. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jason Kaplan. I'm the CEO of SixMap. I'd like to start with a question, and that is, do you know your organization's external attack surface as well as an attacker does? You can be sure that an attacker will take the time to understand your organization, look for weaknesses, and exploit them. Do you know all those potential weaknesses? Can you identify them and stop them and close them before they're exploited? Next slide, please. We have to face the reality that we're in a cyber war today. That's true whether you're a large bank, a small bank, frankly, an individual like me or you. Everybody is a target by either a nation state or a criminal gang. We have to face that reality. Next slide, please. And to secure your organization, we can't think like defenders anymore. I've been fortunate to be in cybersecurity for a while, and attackers absolutely think differently. And they have the time to spend to really look at your organization because all they need is one exploitable area and they win. So you have to think like an attacker as an organization and as a defender. Next slide, please. But it's hard. Like, we know that it's hard. It's hard for a variety of reasons. One is organizations are complex. You know, your bank, maybe you merged, maybe you bought somebody, maybe you were bought by somebody. You have lots of tools. You're using maybe a managed service provider for security. You're moving to the cloud. There's lots of complexity. Organizations are complex. So what we're suggesting is not easy. Next slide, please. And that's where SixMap comes in. SixMap has developed an innovative approach and advanced technology to help you understand your network as well as or better than an advanced adversary, and to do it with almost zero effort. Next slide, please. Our solution starts with an innovative approach, which is a deep understanding on step one here of who you are. To work with us, all we need is your bank or your financial institution's name. You do nothing. We like to say you're already implemented. We do the work to build a deep understanding of who your organization is, and only then can we really understand completely what you own. After we understand what you own, and by that we mean IPs, servers, domains, etc., then we can tell you which of those are exposure points and how to prioritize those to fix what's most important first. I'll point out that steps 1 and 2 actually have nothing to do with cybersecurity. So a big benefit of working with us is not just from a security perspective, but it's a deep understanding of yourself and what you own. Next slide, please. We work with entities that you know well. I'll specifically call out the state of Kansas. At the moment, we're giving the state and every public entity within the state, including counties, school systems, water systems, hospitals, et cetera, everything public, we're giving a view to the state so that they can help them protect themselves. Next slide, please. This is a very quick example of what a customer of ours, who's a large media company, know about themselves if you look at those small blocks, as compared to what we found out about them. We found significantly more assets, significantly more domains, all of which were risk points before we got involved. Next slide, please. We work with companies in all industries. Of course, financial services is a major focus of ours. We work with companies as small as 200 employees, or roughly speaking, up to much larger organizations. Next slide, please. We'd be very happy to take the time to help you bridge the gap in reconnaissance in terms of what an attacker knows and what you know so that you can protect yourself completely. I'll be in breakout room 8, and I hope to see you there. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is David Giron. I am the CEO and co-founder at eFrontiers. Next slide, please. At eFrontiers, we're addressing one of the biggest challenges in the financial industry today. Today, over 43% of the US population is financially illiterate. Next slide, please. Now, in the meantime, financial institutions are spending over $20 billion every year trying to promote products that people simply don't understand. So we have a massive mismatch where financial institutions don't know how to reach their customers, and customers don't really understand the financial products. So that's why at eFrontiers, we have created a gamified learning platform. Next slide, please. that makes it easy and fun to learn about money. The best way you can think about this is a Duolingo of finance that our partners leverage to promote financial education in their communities and boost customer acquisition. Next slide, please. One more click, please, for the demo. So we follow a progressive learning journey where users go unlocking levels, starting with the basics of personal finance, going into more complex topics. We have built everything in a micro-learning methodology so that users can learn at their own pace and at their own time. Each module has definitions, examples, and is packed with interactive questions, videos, and images so that they can learn. The best part is that we gamify the entire experience. So as they're completing modules, they're collecting achievements, and they also collect coins that allows them to compete in leaderboards for real life rewards like gift cards or books. Next slide, please. Now, financial education is not just about the social impact in your community, but it is a differentiation strategy. Our partners have been able to use our platform to achieve up to 20 times better performance on the lead generation efforts. Next slide, please. The best part is that as users come in, not only do they learn about finance, but our platform is learning about them, understanding their needs and their goals. Next slide, please. And then we communicate all this data to our partners so that they can focus on conversions. Next slide, please. The data is a true competitive advantage. As a community bank, your power is in understanding your community. With this data, we can help you understand their needs, their wants, so that you can serve them better. Next slide, please. And we can take this a step beyond and actually understand each user individually, understanding their needs so that you can serve them and put the right product at the right time that they actually need. Next slide, please. For our community banks, we're working with a co-branded version of our Money Masters app. So we will give you codes and links so that as users register, they get access to a learning experience with your logo and your branding. And then as they learn, we will communicate all that data back to you. Next slide, please. So to summarize the user journey, you get the codes, you get the links, you get to promote it through your financial literacy events, also through social media. As users come in, we start collecting data. They also get to learn about finance. We communicate that data back to you and you're able to then use it to convert. Next slide, please. So please join us in break room number 9. So if you want to learn about how we have helped our clients achieve up to 40% lower customer acquisition costs and also generate over 100,000 leads to date. Thank you.
Thank you, David, and thank you to all of the last three, V2 Verify, SixMap, and eFrontiers. You guys did a wonderful job. Another round of applause for this whole cohort. You guys did a wonderful job this session. The financial technology pilot competition started in September and it ran through January. Went a little bit over, but you guys have did a wonderful job. I'm going to take this next space to not only say thank you to our finalists, but also to say thank you again to our task force, KBA task force. You guys have done such great work. Such great work. We have Tracy, we have Mike, TJ, Robbie, and Chance. You guys leaned in with us, stayed on calls with us, go through all the applications. So thank you guys for your time. I am going to next hand this over to my guy, Bobby. Bobby with the Kansas Bankers Association. We are going to do a quick announcement of the winners for this year's competition. Bobby, you ready?
I am. Thank you, Colette. The task force looked through about dozens of financial technology companies, and our goal was to identify companies that would have products or services that would provide efficiencies to community banks in the state of Kansas and surrounding states. In the end, the task force selected the following companies based on our stated goals. The first is SixMap, Multimodal, Posh, and Aluma. The winners will receive a 1-year associate membership with the KBA and a booth at the KBA's technology conference. The goal there would be to allow those vendors to connect with community banks that attend the conference that's later on in February. Thank you.
Okay, thanks again, Bobby. Thank you for the task force, our finalists, and KBA for your support of our program this year. Mary Beth, I'll go ahead and hand things off to you.
Sounds good. We'll get going to the next slide here in just a second, but the next slide basically just says the breakout rooms are opening. So my job is to talk you through a little bit about how this breakout room session will work. First, for those of you that have to drop off at the top of the hour, please know that the recording of this will be made available on YouTube. We'll send it to registrants and attendees. And what you'll get is a recording, and you'll be able to earmark or bookmark where each of the pitches existed. So if you've got colleagues on your team or around your industry that you want to take a look at any one of our particular finalists, you'll have the opportunity to do that. In the breakout rooms today, though, we're going to keep these open for the next 30 minutes. Each of them will be manned by the startups in the order that they pitched. I can get us to the next slide, I think. There you go. So this is a reminder of the order in which folks pitched, and therefore the number of the breakout room that they are manning. So those are being prepared right now, but take a look at whether you want to go talk to the folks at Monet in number 1, Multimodal, Spheros, ASA, Posh, Illuma, V2 Verify, 6map, and eFrontiers. And when we get those, when you get the opportunity to go into a breakout room, what you'll notice is that you'll get I'm actually not sure they're open. I ought to maybe stay back on this slide for a second. But when you get the opportunity to go into a breakout room, you'll be able to join the one that you want to join. You may have one company you want to talk to. You may have a couple. You can move in and out of breakout rooms at your own discretion. You just use that, go to a breakout room. It appears in your screen as a little bit of a 4-plate, kind of as if there were 4 icons down below. And then you choose that says join a breakout room, and you'll have a chance to navigate between them. A couple of bits of advice. You don't have to be going into a breakout room in order to have a customer direct conversation with that startup. You may still just be curious. In order to go to a breakout room, you don't have to be ready to say, I want you, 6map, I want to work with you, Spheros. You just want the opportunity to hear more. Those 3-minute pitches that they put together for today, there are many things about their company, their offering, their pricing, what it takes to onboard, all of the practical items that we didn't let them get to in their short pitches. You'll have a chance to explore in the breakout rooms. So you'll have a chance to pick the breakout you want to go to. Join a breakout room is how that will appear, should be appearing on your screen now. In order to go through and pick the breakout room you'd like to populate. The founders will be there along with their teams, and we'll have a chance to get you into the breakout rooms to have those conversations. When you come out of one, you'll come briefly back into this main room. I'll hang out here in case you have questions. We will not go back and have additional, remarks. Breakout rooms will last until the bottom of the hour, and then we'll shut down the breakout rooms. And again, we'll keep the main room open for dialogue or questions. Reminder that Q&A at the bottom of the screen will get you to technical help should you need it. Chat, you can continue to populate with questions, requests for any of the founders to connect with you or look you up. We'll put that on their radar screen at the end of the program. So I see people disappearing to breakout rooms. I hope that operation continues. Again, breakout rooms 1 through 9, you'll have a chance to engage with the teams. Even if all you want to do is pop in, give them your email and say, hey, let's take this offline. Great use of the last few minutes of your time here. If you want to go in and have an in-depth conversation, access some of their additional information, get a copy of their deck, you name it, you can further the conversation in those breakout rooms. For those folks that don't know exactly who they want to talk to, but want to continue sort of the coolest hour of your week, pick a breakout room and maybe cycle in and out. There won't be, again, there's not a requirement that the moment you go into a breakout room, someone is ready to sort of do a deal. I want you to talk about their capabilities. Maybe it was the folks that help you onboard customers quicker and more efficiently. Maybe it was the folks that help you operate more securely Maybe it was the folks that give you different ways to authenticate and engage with your customers other than the multifunctional or multi-step authentication processes that you're going through now. I heard one of the bankers that we've worked with over the years reveal that for their bank's customer service function, not big enough to be called a call center, so they just call it customer service, 95% of the queries that come into that are all about, I forgot my password or I can't access. If you're looking for different but secure and modern ways of having your folks talk to you, engage with you, and access your services, we've got finalists that fill that void. We've also got folks that help engage AI in ways that have your security, your internal environment first and foremost. One of the presenters talked about how there's these gurus within their banks. You lose a guru, you've lost a ton, right? And particularly in smaller community banks, in family-owned banks, of which there are many, that can be a generational transition. And all of a sudden, the guy that's been doing it or leading it for a number of decades is less available. Well, how do you sort of empty their brain and make that information available to other folks around your institution? Those tools continue to progress. Again, if you haven't thought of how to use AI to improve the effectiveness or efficiency of your operations as a community bank, these finalists give you those opportunities. So all of those functions that you see here, whether it's onboarding customers or vendors more easily, more efficiently, more safely, whether it's managing the fintechs that you as a bank need to collaborate with and choose to build connections with and relationships with, or the ones your customers are already using, but you give them a chance to access in a secure place that keeps them in your universe, even while they are accessing other fintech players or capabilities. Based on the population of our front room, my guess is that the breakout rooms are up and running and folks have had a chance to enter those. I will actually keep Q&A open as well. So in case you've got technical questions, I'll be hanging out here in the webinar to receive those. If you've got a question and you want to type into Q&A, I'll be watching. If you have a question and you want to just come into the main webinar, turn on your sound and video to ask it. I will try to keep an eye on both the chat and the Q&A. We'll see how my multitasking skills make that happen. Here, how do I pin that? Okay, that got too big. I'll stay quiet for a bit, but please know that if you go out to a breakout room and come back into here, we are not going to have sort of concluding remarks in any sort of wrap-up sense. We invite you to stick with us, head to another breakout room, but if you have explored all that you intend to explore, you can drop off as needed or as you wish. I'll go quiet for a bit and see if there's dialogue or help that anybody needs. Thanks. Hey, for folks that are coming in and out of the main webinar, this is Mary Beth. I'm just hanging out here in case you've got questions, but hopefully you are finding the movement between breakout rooms to be smooth. The list will stay up and the breakout rooms will stay open till the bottom of the hour. And if you've got questions particular to any of the startups or for Nexus and the staff, please feel free to throw those into the chat. As mentioned in the chat, we will be posting this recording on YouTube. We'll send that out to all attendees and registrants. And we had about 100 folks respond to this that they couldn't attend in real time, but they'll be excited to see the the pitches that we saw today from our finalists and have a chance to access the capabilities of these fintechs that, once again, from 210 competitors this year, they got eliminated down to about 40 that we thought were responsive to the highest priority innovation needs of our community banks in the region. And then we got further down after the partners got a chance to take a look at them. The task force for the KBA was hard at work. I mean, these are folks that for their community banks wear many hats. They might be the head of innovation and technology, but they also might be the head of operations or the bank president. And those folks really took a thorough look at how these contenders that we interviewed, had Zoom meetings with, and reviewed really could add value today to community bank operations around the country. So that got us down to a group of just less than 20. We had meetings and dialogue with those and selected the 9, the 4 of which you saw named the Kansas Bankers Association for their own purposes and their membership, thought they could be showcased, and they'll have a chance at the KBA's technology conference that'll be held in Wichita, Kansas, February 9th and 10th. So right after we all watch the Super Bowl, they'll be getting together to plot out the future of technology and innovation for their community banks. And then the rest of the finalists, the American Bankers Association, had the opportunity to really sort of assess and across their broad membership across the country, determined again most relevant, most promising for the operations of their community banks around the nation. I'll come back on video for a bit just so that y'all aren't hearing this disembodied voice. But I am excited to have all of the attendees sticking with us in and out of these breakout rooms. This is a chance without a plane ticket, without a conference you got to go to, without a big room of exhibiting fintech vendors. You've got the chance to meet one-on-one and in small groups with these founders. You can ask your questions. You can listen to the intelligent questions asked by others. That's where I always find myself. I'll listen in and be like, oh, yeah, answer that thing he just asked about their integrations with your core, about their integrations with your secure data. All of those are the practical rubber meets road criteria that determine whether a community bank can free up its limited resources and innovation energy in order to implement something new. One thing I always talk with our pilot competition partners about is that everything we bring to them via this program or the others that Nexus runs in other industry areas is something new. It's something different. It is change. It is new muscles because in many cases, there's not a lot of track record for their individual bank working directly with a fintech or, more importantly, a startup. Maybe you've always waited around for a particular capability to come at you through your core provider. Now, if you've got DCI as your core provider, they're right here alongside us, finding great fintechs to partner with and implement alongside. So maybe they're bringing you some of these leading innovators. But sometimes you've got to go find something that fits you all on your own. And the purpose and the value of this program is that you aren't alone in that journey. You're not hunting and pecking through the world of up and coming fintechs and trying to determine on your own who's solvent and viable, who's building for you and institutions like yours. So we're excited about the curating process that brings you gift wrapped great companies like these 9 finalists that are well positioned, the right amount of strength and traction in order to have a proven capability, the right amount of progress with respect to securing their capability and fitting seamlessly into your universe of secure data and core capabilities, but not so far along that they can't be co-collaborators with you, that they can't customize, that they aren't priced for smaller institutions to be able to implement effectively and intelligently. So as you go in and out of breakout rooms, please ensure that you get super practical, super fast. Make your introductions, but ask the questions about onboarding time, about resources needed to deploy, about the startup's capacity for pilots and projects in the coming quarter or 2 quarters or year. And also, talk price and make sure that you understand the resources it takes on your end and theirs to work together. And because one of the toughest things that we find in the financial institutions we've spent the most time with is that whoever the advocate is for that particular capability, pilot project, innovation idea, whoever sat in on this webinar and comes back going, man, we ought to try this or that, the startups are ready to give you what you need to take that felt advocacy and turn it into dialogue in your bank with the decision makers and the team members that will have to implement it. So taking your, man, this sounds promising, and giving you the tools to turn to the rest of your institution and figure out how and when and with what resources it can fit into your innovation journey. It's a crucial piece of what we found over the past 5 years now of this program. All right, I'm going to go off camera again, so I'll go back to being a disembodied voice. But for those that are kicking in and out of breakout sessions, again, please know you can put remarks in the chat or you can ask questions in the Q&A in terms of sort of technical difficulties or operational questions about the webinar. But in the meantime, enjoy your continued conversations with these exciting startups. Guys, it's Mary Beth. Just sort of accompanying the journey for those folks that have popped in and out of this main webinar while the breakout rooms are drawing you in and out. We're down to 10 or 11 minutes remaining of having the breakout rooms open. One of the things I would encourage you to do is if you've got breakout rooms you didn't have a chance to get into, or questions you have to ask of a particular startup and you haven't had a chance to discuss with them, if you throw those in the chat, we'll be happy to convey those to the 9 finalists or the appropriate finalists. If you have a question that's more broad, something you'd like more than one of them to answer, such that it would help you evaluate the group as a whole or your particular bank or financial institution's alignment alongside fintechs, we'd be happy to take a broad subject to these finalists and connect their answers back to you in the wake of this innovation showcase. So please use the communication tools to the best value for your institution. I would say if there's one hope that I have for the bank participants that were able to join us today and those that'll be watching this via the recording, is that you can think differently about the dizzying world of fintechs, some of which you feel sort of breathing down your neck in terms of taking wallet share or capabilities away from traditional community banks. I hope that if nothing else, these 9 finalists have shown you that there are fintechs out there whose mission in life is to make your operations more effective, more efficient, make your stewardship of your commercial and consumer clients more seamless, to help you live up to the incredibly high expectations for digital elegance that today's modern banking customers have, whether they are in small towns in Kansas or elsewhere, or they're in major metropolitan areas, and whether they're doing business with a big bank that has their own budget of heft for innovation and financial technology integrations and development, or they're working with a community bank that is trying to be all the things a community bank or a credit union or other financial institution needs to be, which is that trusted partner, that the customer knowledge, the sometimes generational service to families, to businesses, to clients. But yet now you've got to do it meeting the same high expectations for folks to have digital capabilities and fluidity in onboarding, account opening, making wires and transfers, creating services for them, educating them financially, and that, so from their own financial literacy all the way up to, the elegance of digital operations that folks are demanding. These financial technology startups are clearly proving that there is at least some hefty segment of the fintech industry that is building for you, banks, credit unions, and community financial institutions all over, and trying to help you succeed in this fast-changing, highly competitive world of serving business and consumer banking customers in 2026 and beyond. So thanks very much for joining. If you're back here to this main webinar and just thinking that you've done as many breakout rooms as you're going to do, thank you so much for joining. We won't have, wrap up remarks that bring folks together. Folks will just sort of vote with their feet as they finish out their time in the breakout rooms or in the webinar. Really appreciate folks' time and attention today, and hope that this marrying of consumer and commercial banking concerns by community banks and financial institutions around Kansas and around the country, the clients of DCI, all the folks that got invited here today and that will be able to watch this link post-webinar, that the value proposition for you really came true. And that is that without the hunting and pecking and riding on the coattails of the incredible work of discernment and curation that the Kansas Bankers Association Task Force and that the ABA did to bring you this class of finalists, you are the beneficiary of all that great work, of all that wise elimination of other contenders and narrowing to these highly promising, highly relevant, and ready to deploy solution providers. So I hope you felt the spirit of of meeting you halfway to make you better that these fintechs live by and have the opportunity to work with one or more of them going forward. Super grateful for everyone who participated. I'll go off camera for a bit and in a few minutes come back on to kind of shut us down, but really appreciate everyone who was able to take the time today. guys, this is Mary Beth. I am in the main webinar, just sort of hanging out as farewell hostess for those folks that maybe step back into the main webinar for a moment after they've concluded their time in breakout rooms and are sort of even maybe vaguely wondering whether they ought to be waiting for some concluding remarks. Well, I'm the best you got. So we don't have formal programming to close this out. Folks will get sucked back into the webinar from breakout rooms if they were in until those close down. So there might be some ability to have some dialogue here in the main webinar. But this is really our collection point before we all say farewell for the day. I really hope that your dialogue was productive. For those who were able to attend live, or for those folks that are watching this recording going forward, I just want to reiterate this webinar, this innovation showcase, this entire program really has one purpose, and that is for community banks, whether they're in the heartland of America across Kansas or they are elsewhere in the United States. They get a front row seat, not a last look, at up and coming innovators who are building and deploying solutions specifically to make their operations more secure, more effective, more efficient, and to live up to the expectations of not only their internal bank employees who want data to move smoothly, who want decisions made and processes to be efficient and effective, to their business clients who expect a high level of service and digital elegance from their banks, whether they're working with a giant bank that has a gazillion-dollar budget for its own innovation development and its own projects, or if they're working with a community bank. They expect community banks to be everything. Consumers and business clients expect a community bank to be what communities banks have always been, and hometown credit unions and hometown financial institutions have always had to be both effective and timely and efficient stewards of their processes and the time and attention of their clients, but also the relationship experts, I really, they get me, and integrating the operations and collaborating between community banks and fintechs is a reality today. So whether you're trying to keep wallet share, even knowing some of your consumer clients have other interactions with fintechs or neobanks, if you're trying to help ensure that your customer experience is just as fluid and effective and efficient as your consumer or business customer would like, even while you keep your character as the hometown provider, the regional bank, the community leader and financial provider that you've always been. This program is designed to help you do both, to help you compete with the big guys because you're willing to work with the little guys. These up and coming innovators were deemed by the folks that took them down from 210 competitors to these 9 finalists that their developments, their tools, their platforms, their capabilities are deployable now. They fit in with your needs with respect to security, connectivity, and integration with your core, DCI or otherwise, and your digital environment, but that they can fulfill your needs to provide efficient and effective operations, to live up to the digital transformation expectations of your customers and your employees, and they help you forge into the future, competing with the big guys while still feeling like the community leaders and community bankers that you are, and that your business and consumer clients will continue to demand from you. So thank you so much for joining. Breakout rooms are closed out. We've got a couple of folks that have returned back here to the main webinar, but we're going to shut down the main webinar. Really appreciate your time and attention. Thank you for joining us today. And all registrants, in addition to those that queried, as I mentioned, we had about 100 queries for folks that couldn't attend live but want to receive the link. We'll be getting those out so folks can see our 9 finalist pitches and really navigate this innovation landscape that's been curated for you by our team members at the American Bankers Association and the Kansas Bankers Association. Thank you so much, and see y'all next year.